everyone, and welcome to Dalian Reads Reviews, where I'll be discussing with you a new book. So the book of the week was Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Nigozi Adichie, and it's a fiction history. Alright, so the book takes us back to 60s Nigeria, where it follows the story of two rich twin sisters, Olana and Kanini. Although twins, they happen to be very, very different and don't really follow the stereotypes of being the same. Both have a very different mentalities, very different tastes in men, and overall their personalities are just very, very different. Life takes them into a spiral when the civil war breaks in Nigeria. Their lives encounter a lot of troubles and struggles as they try to maneuver their way and survive the war. It's just very, very tragic to watch unfold right in front of you in this book. Alright, so let's talk about the writing style real quick. Chimamanda is not a stranger to myself personally. I've read Americana a few years back and I fell in love with her very raw style of writing. She writes from the bottom of her heart and you can feel every word that she writes. It pierces right through you, and like, this book did not disappoint. The streak goes on. I just love the way that she describes things. It makes you just get so invested in the story and what's gonna happen next. She writes page turners basically. Plot-wise, this book followed three characters' perspectives. It followed Olana's and Richard's and Ugu. I want to talk about the plot a bit deeper because I know that I didn't describe it well in the first segment, but that's only because I don't really want to spoil the book for you. I'd rather that you go in and discover it for yourself. But I'm just gonna say that the plot talked a lot about important issues that went on in that time, and it talked about the Civil War and the segregations, and it talked about the horrors that happened during that awful time. The book also discussed colonization of Nigeria and how it became one nation and how it got its independence. It also spoke about the radical movements that sprouted at that time, and it also discussed women and feminism and just Africans and the struggles that they went through. The book was also heavily themed with sacrifices and true love and overcoming struggles and moving forward. It really had some very rich lessons in there, and it was just beautifully done. Was very, very brutal and it was very transparent, so I would like to plug a trigger warning for rape. In war, indecent things happen and horrific acts unfortunately occur, and it did in this book, so just a heads up for those who are uncomfortable reading such things. And the book can get a bit graphic, so just keep an eye on that. The character build-up in this book was phenomenal. I would like to take a few minutes to just discuss the characters that were in this book. I'm gonna start with Olana. Happens to be the prettier twin, which translates to getting harassed by unwanted men a lot more than her uglier sister Kanini. Now Olana was very headstrong. She knew what she wanted and she was very determined to get it. She didn't really abide to the family's rules or traditions, or she didn't really want to follow in the footsteps of her father and take over the business. That was all Kanini. So when she decided to move out and move in with her radical boyfriend and lover Odenigbo, It was such a boss move from her side. Here's where we talk about Odenigbo, Olana's spouse and one true love. Odenigbo was a very intriguing character at first. He was smart, sophisticated, had such a different perspective about life. He was very passionate about his country and his people, and he had some radical thoughts that not many agreed with, or he basically didn't have the most popular opinion at that time. Like, he was very controversial, and he believed in the messages that he preached about. He had this community of radicals because he was a professor, an educator, so he was a thinker and a visionary, and he had his own community of radicals who would discuss Nigeria's problems, politics, feminism, and everything else in between. He came to some wrong decisions and wrongdoings because of his mother, who didn't really approve of Olana to be his spouse. So he messed up big time, and it was very, very frustrating to watch and read, and it really disrupted his relationship with Olana. But fortunately, everything worked out at the very end. So someone who is related to Odenigbo, Ugu was his houseboy, very complex character in this book, who has done a lot of damage. His character build-up was just something to uphold. And then we have Kanini, who also develops a lot in this book. The ending that she got was very ominous. Then we have Richard, who is Kanini's British lover. Richard wasn't your typical close-minded, racist, white person who just came in here and was like, I'm the white man, so therefore I'm superior. He was actually very curious about the African culture, and he wanted to experience the true Nigeria. When he got involved with Kanini, he started writing more passionately. But of course, complications occur. He gets tangled up in some messy things that will jeopardize his relationship with Kanini. Overall, the characters in this book are very, very interesting. They are definitely three-dimensional, and you will enjoy them very much, with some moments of irritation and frustration, of course. Alright, so overall this book was very, very emotional. It was such a ride, I'm gonna tell you that, and I'm glad that I picked it as my first read of 2021. This is such a strong beginning. It was just full of depth and richness, and that is exactly how I like such books to be. So if you're into such plots and such topics, then I highly recommend Adichie's books. She is a wonderful writer, and I'm such a huge fan. So yeah, that is it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for next week's review. And until next time, see ya and bye. Here's a fun fact that you didn't know. Half of A Yellow Sun is actually paying tribute to Biafra, a republic that was in a civil war with Nigeria. It is drawn in their flag. There was this half yellow sun in their flag, and this is why the title was born. Second fun fact, there is a movie adaptation of this book, and I'm very, very much looking forward to watching it.